Now recently a video has come to my attention from a rather savage individual who is a Scouser by the name of Miss Otterface. Ew. Now this was a video response to the NUS and why they have a no platform policy. Now, everybody knows what a no platform policy is. It's when you don't give a platform to a certain individual or group because of what they believe in or what they say, and you don't want what they say and believe in basically being said to other people. So we all know what that is. Well, the NUS is the National Union of Students in the UK. They basically organise and support students, whatever that may be, through sometimes supporting protests, to helping people with studies and all the stuff like that. They're a union, they're supposed to represent us, but really they don't represent everybody and instead only represent, you guessed it, the small minority of people at the top, or at least the loud minority of the social justice warriors who are currently ruining the university system in the West. That's basically what they are, and before you worry, I mean it when I say it is a minority, because most people really don't care about the NUS. They really just couldn't give a flying fuck, because it's just this organisation that's there that doesn't really do anything. I mean, I know I mentioned all these things, but that's meant to be the thing in theory, but they rarely ever do that, and when they do, it's usually very cringy and doesn't help everybody. So essentially, there's this organisation we have that's meant to represent everybody that doesn't represent everybody, as you've seen from the rhetoric. If you've seen any British YouTubers cover this, they've got an anti-Semite that's currently leading it, although I don't know if she's still in power currently, but she was last year, and we've just got the most regressive fuckers imaginable. But most students really don't care about it. They don't really join in with the elections or anything like that. They just see it as this useless thing that's there. They don't care about it. Some people actively dislike it, like me. But hey, enough about the NUS. You've got your little background information out of the way, padding this video, because the video's very short and succinct, which is very nice, because if it's one thing I like responding to, it's short and succinct videos. So, let's do this, people. Let's see why they can justify this no platform policy that they've had for 40 odd years now.
Yes, NUS has a no platform policy.
Yeah, we know you've got a no platform policy. It's been there for 40 years. You're telling us old news.
And we've had it since April 1974, and we've still got it now.
Yeah, I know. I've explained that at the beginning of the video. In all seriousness, I like how they've got the token POC and working class person, because, as you know, they've got to be representative here. Even the plebs have to be represented. I also like the nonchalantness about this. Like, it's always been there. What's wrong with it, eh? Well, you know, there's a whole lot of wrong with it, but let's just continue.
Because it was voted for overwhelmingly by our membership.
Key words there. Voted for by your membership, not all the students across the UK. You don't represent us. Oh, I'm a graduate, but you never represented me. You never actually represented most of my friends. You didn't really represent most of anybody at Manchester Metropolitan University, which is the one I went to, or even across the road at University of Manchester, or even in Salford University, or anywhere outside of Manchester. You don't represent most people. You represent the social justice warriors and your membership. Okay, that's who you represent, and I like how after 40 years it's yet to be challenged, and I wonder why. I wonder why that is. Couldn't possibly because it's exclusive.
At NUS, no platform means that organisations with racist or fascist views
Will never be allowed to stand in NUS elections or attend or speak at any of our NUS events.
Well, that's funny because your leader is a racist. She doesn't like the Jews. So apparently when they're left wing or people that you like, it's totally okay for them to be racist, but if they're happening to be part of a fascist party, then they totally cannot be part of your organisation or speak at your events. I love the hypocrisy here, NUS. Totally shows why you're such a pillar of the student community, an absolute pillar of society. Honestly, I'm glad you exist. I mean, what are you afraid of? What are they going to do? They're going to change the minds of these people? Everybody knows that these ideas are stupid. Well, most people know they're stupid. And what are you going to do about the people who already believe this way, who are currently going to your universities? You're going to allow them to have these ideas fester and grow unchallenged? Is that really the best you can come up with dealing with these types of people, rather than, you know, debating them and debunking these ideas? Well, you know, that would be the logical thing to do now, wouldn't it? Now, a bit of a history lesson, people, before we continue. I know, I'm pushing it, I'm pushing the time limit, but to be honest, At the time, in the 1970s, there was a huge rise in far-right activity, and to be honest, as much as I disagree with the no platforming and it's a bullshit way to stop the problem, because it didn't stop the problem was essentially solved through, well, debating, people eventually coming together as they began to essentially get into contact with each other more through community efforts and stuff. You know, things in the grassroots, not high up in the ivory towers that are universities. And no platform did nothing to stop the rise of the NF and eventually the fall of the NF and the fall of the BNP, which is the British National Party. Yeah, it was people coming together and forming relationships and debating these fascists and protesting these fascists that stopped all that from becoming worse than it could have been. But at that time, yes, there was a rise in that kind of thing, but eventually it ended. And I still don't think, even then in 1974, there was any need for this no platform rule. There's literally no need for it, because these people are unlikely going to change the minds of the students back then or now, because you've already done that.
Our officers, committee members and even trustees will never share a platform with these people or organisations.
Because guilt by association, we can't be sharing a platform with these people. That would be essentially making them legitimate, right? Well, not necessarily. All you have to do is debate these people. That's all you have to do. That doesn't mean you think they're legitimate. But hey, whatever. You guys do what you do. It's the reason why you're a laughingstock.
We do this because these views are so decidedly opposed to our fundamental values.
So you disagree with them. That's why you've done it? Really? That's one of the most bullshit reasons I've ever heard from you guys. And believe me, you've given us a lot of bullshit over the years. These things are banned because they totally are the complete opposite of us. Yeah, I wonder why a group of far left people who run the NUS don't want a group of far right people potentially causing trouble or potentially changing certain people's minds. You don't want that other group of crazies in now, do you? You want it to be you who rule the roost. Your brand of crazy, yeah. I get it.
We encourage active debate, but it's got to be free from harassment.
No, you don't. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a no platform policy. And these people speaking to a crowd is not harassment. Those people in the 1970s at the rallies who were dressed up as skinheads fighting people were harassing, but they weren't doing it at universities now, were they? They were doing it in the streets. What you people have no idea what it's like in the streets, so you assume that shit where you're debating somebody and they're saying ideas you don't like is something harassment. You just totally show how just mollycoddled you are, and just, need I say any more, people? You get it.
We aim to protect and empower our students, and we cannot do that while these views continue to undermine their well-being.
These views are not put into practice, therefore it's not harming the well-being of these students. Are you really saying that these people are so weak-willed, so weak-minded, that just hearing an idea that is totally alien to their beliefs is going to harm their well-being? Seriously? You are that willing to completely and utterly take the agency away from these people you want to empower in order to stop them from hearing these other people's ideas, which they're going to learn about anyway. Especially history students and politics students have to learn this shit. So again, if they're okay learning about all that, I was okay with learning about fascism, not just in university, but school and college, which is A-levels. College is basically high school senior Americans and Canadians or whoever. I'm okay. I'm not a fascist. Well, I guess you would say I am one. But seriously, you're trying to protect these people? Really? Again, another bullshit reason.
Fascism and racism are not allowed.
Yeah, that's why you've got a no platform policy. I wonder who else isn't allowed in this no platform policy. I wonder, because you keep saying it's fascists and racists, yet you're ran by a racist who is practically fascist in her own right. But she's a person of colour, so it's okay.
And just for the record, we only have six
names
on our no platform list.
Oh, I love the sass, mate. That was just, biting. Yeah, 6 names on your no platform list. That's 6 names too many. Doesn't make it any better. Doesn't make it any worse. It's still 6 names too many. And anyway, that's the end of the video. This is the dying embers of a long left at organisation that really should just crumble into dust. Their leader, or formerly, I don't know if she's still there, I've even forgotten her name. She caused a few universities to leave, I do believe, the NUS, and I hope more continue, because they're only going to continue to rot the universities until they're just more of a laughingstock than they already are, and full of regressive ideas and against free speech. So, until next time, this has been Charming Man 93. Like and share the video, subscribe to my channel. Until next time, I'll see you all later.